it will do the marketing for the company, and then it will sell these shares out into the market to the investors. Okay, so this entire activity is security underwriting. So it is called security because it is not always shares. It can be bonds as well, or any other security, okay, that the company wants to issue. Then equity research. So equity research is, if you have seen equity research reports, okay, have you ever seen news headlines like there is a buy rating for Reliance, there is a sell rating for Maruti Suzuki, there is a target price of 15,000 for Maruti Suzuki. Have you seen such kind of news? Yes. So all that is given in the equity research report. So equity research is one division wherein there are research analysts, equity research analysts, which are studying companies, industries, and then they come out with such opinions, right? And equity research is, yes, it can be done for the public as well. Okay, if we talk about brokerage firms, they also have research analysts, and then they give out their opinions in the public. Okay, so that people buy these shares and they get benefit in the form of brokerage. Okay, so yes, that is also one area. But if I talk about the most premium form of equity research, then that is given the equity research uh, analysis being done for the buy side investors. Okay, we talked about buy side. Okay, so let's say there is a mutual fund house. Okay, there is a asset management company, so they also need some inputs from into the market. Okay, so they also subscribe to these equity research reports. Okay, that what these research analysts are talking about. Okay, so they are the most premium client. Okay, the buy side is the most premium client for the equity research analyst. Then commercial banking. So yes, there are certain investment banks which are um, catering to commercial banking activities as well. For example, JP Morgan Chase. Okay, so JP Morgan is the investment banking arm. Chase is the commercial banking arm. Okay, sales and trading. So this is one area where actually buying and selling of stocks happen. Okay, so if someone is thinking that investment banking is all about stock market, so let me correct you here that investment banking revolves around stock market, but it is not the stock market where you are actually sitting in a desktop and you are actually buying and selling stocks. That is only going to happen in this division, that is sales and trading. Okay, or it is also known as trading and brokerage. Now in Goldman it is known as global markets division. Okay, so the name can be different for different entities, different investment banks, but the division, the activity remains the same. Okay. Then corporate banking. Corporate banking, I hope you understand that, how is it different from commercial banking? So when you don't target, the retail out there, but your target is mainly the large transactions that are happening. Okay, some project is coming up, worth, let's say, 10,000 crore rupees. So in order to fund that kind of a project, you need to, get into loan syndication. Okay, so there is some project financing activity coming up. Okay, some infrastructure projects, some township project, some 1,000 bedded hospital project. Okay, so these are some very large projects which is going to take 15 years, 20 years of time. So the commercial banks does not have that kind of a risk appetite. Okay, so that is where the role of investment banks come into play. Okay, it's not that commercial banks don't cater to corporate banking. Okay, they also have a specific division. Okay, I was working into corporate banking back then in in Yes Bank. But within corporate banking as well, if I'm working with a commercial bank, my exposure would be limited. Okay, so I would be the exposure was that I won't touch any project less than 100 crores. So I will take up only projects which are above 100 crores. But then there is a limit to which the commercial banks can get into. So that is where investment banks come into play. Then mergers and acquisition, sell side. So as I said, okay, so if you are helping the seller in an acquisition transaction, in a merger transaction, then that is on the sell side. And lastly, restructuring. Restructuring is when a company is facing financial distress. Okay, they are incurring losses. Probably they are not able to meet their expenses, not able to meet their debt installment. So you come up with a restructuring plan. Okay, you help the company to restructure its entire operations, and you renegotiate the terms and conditions with the suppliers, with the financial creditors, and you arrange the necessary funding for the company so that this company can again survive and uh, revive and thrive in the long run. Okay, so that is what restructuring is all about. Then types of investment banks. So three types. Boutique. Bulge Bracket is, the largest of the investment banks, which cater to all the types of services that we have been talking about. So usually when we talk about investment banks, we are talking mostly about the sell side. Okay, we are not talking about the buy side. Buy side are standalone entities. Okay, private equity firm is usually engaged into only private equity. Asset management firm is only engaged into asset management only, right? But when we talk about sell side, they are catering to, so many services in one single go, because it is more like consulting only, right? Then, so that is bulge bracket. They cater to most of the services. Okay. Then mid size is, first let me talk about boutique. Boutique is not catering to all the services, but some specific services. Okay, let's say they might be engaged into M&A, they might be engaged into underwriting. Okay, so mostly consulting kind of activities. And mid size is which is offering more number of services than boutique. Okay, they have larger employee strength, they have larger capital, they have larger geographical presence. Okay, so how do you understand the, what is boutique and what is bulge bracket? So you can think of it this way, that let's say if now today, let's say Tata Steel wants to buy some company in let's say, US. So this kind of a transaction would usually be facilitated by a bulge bracket bank, because they have presence in India also, right? They have presence in US also. So they will be able to give better service to Tata Steel, right? So if we talk about a boutique investment bank, then let's say boutique investment banks are experts into some specific sectors, into some specific domains. Okay, so if someone wants to go position into healthcare sector, so there might be some boutique investment banks which are experts into healthcare sector, so he will approach that boutique investment bank. Okay, I hope you got the picture. Hierarchy of roles. So this is the usual hierarchy: analyst, the junior most role. Then you move on to associate, then managing director, MD, and the head. Okay, there can be some positions in between, like senior analyst, like senior associate, like assistant vice president. Okay, so some positions here and there, but the overall hierarchy looks like this. Okay. Types of roles. So front office, mid office, and back office. So what is front office? When you're directly engaged in talking to the clients, you are responsible for onboarding the clients, you are, attending conferences, you are clients' offices. So that is what you do in the front office. Okay, you're basically acting as a relationship manager. Okay, but this relationship manager is, yes, somewhat different. Okay, to a great extent different from what you do as a commercial bank's relationship manager. Okay, as a let's say, someone who is working with ICICI Bank as a relationship manager, so they will be engaged, visiting, clients shop to shop, working capital, offering out working capital loans. So yes, that is a very different kind of a job. But when you actually working with investment bank, yes, the overall definition is still relationship management, but the kind of people you are dealing with, the kind of businesses you are dealing with, CFOs, sorry, not CMOs, CEOs. So yes, all these, the trajectory changes quite a lot. Mid office is when you are working for a US based client, is based in US. So let's say working with JP Morgan. So JP Morgan is also having an office in US. So the front office will be the JP Morgan US office, right? But you are working for that client, so you are now the mid office. Okay, I hope you got the picture. Client was onboarded by US, but all the work related to that client is being handled by the India office. So you are now in the mid office, fine. And lastly, back office. So back office is all your operational related tasks, technical support, arranging the documents, then KYC checks, AML checks, all that is taken care of by the back office. Okay. Kind of salaries that is offered. So I do get questions on this. I've just included it here from a source that is Glassdoor. And if you look at this number here, it's somewhere around 11 lakh. But from our experience that we would usually see is that the range is somewhere in the range of 12 to 20 lakhs, and it is still a very big range. What you see here is also going up to 21 lakhs. So in fact, we have also seen going up to 25 lakhs as well. So it depends upon your credentials, it depends upon your skill sets, it depends upon your the profile that you're getting into, the bank you're getting into. It's a domestic bank, it's a MNC bank. Okay, so the prospects are going to change accordingly. Scope of investment banking. So just to give you an idea that the scope of investment banking as far as India is concerned, then the scope is dependent upon the type of transactions, the kind of activities that is happening in the market. If you look at startups, so yes, not just traditional companies, even the startup companies, we have seen, tech-based IPOs are also coming up, D2C businesses are coming up. So because of that, the number of companies that are going for an IPO has increased eventually, and that business is eventually increasing for the investment bankers. Right now, I hope you all know that Hyundai is gearing up for an IPO. So it's not just the number of companies, it is also the amount that has been raised from the IPOs. So Hyundai is going to raise how much? Around 27,000 crores, right? So which is going to be the largest. So just imagine if if the investment banks are going to charge a small percentage of that. So just imagine the kind of number that they will be minting. So yes, startup is a very good, IPO security underwriting, in general is a very good business for the investment banks, and this business has been booming rapidly. Then M&A is, one activity which has also been increasing very rapidly, because whether it's a traditional business or whether it's a startup company, what is the uh, motive of every company out there? That is to grow, right? They want to expand, they want to grow. And how can a company grow? Can they do everything from the scratch, from the zero, right? That is not possible, right? So the natural way of progressing or expanding your business is via mergers and acquisition, and that is what we have been seeing for all these larger companies like or maybe Vedanta, right? All these companies have been expanding, then via mergers and acquisitions, and also all these startups as well. Okay, when a company raises funds, okay, when a startup gets funding, have you seen these kind of news, right? They have acquired this company, they have acquired that company, Byju's acquired Akash, right? So all these news are now very common, okay, and these keep on happening every day, and pivotal business changes happening. So when a company is, now the business avenues are also, being changed. Or, companies are moving to a diversified set of businesses. For example, Vedanta, which is known for a mining company. Okay, it is known as a mining company. But now that is also, we have seen this news, couple of, time, I will say months back, that they were trying to venture into semiconductors, but I don't know whether they have been able to do it or not. But whenever such things are going to happen, they are going to rely on consultants like investment banks. You find us a partner into this particular domain. So investment bank will look for a company which is based in Taiwan, which is expert into this particular area. So they will arrange the necessary terms and help Vedanta to get into this particular domain. So in all these cases, investment banks are going to play a role. If you look at the historical data in the last 10 years, the number of IPOs have increased tremendously. And this is still a very small number in 2021. In the last year, 2023, the data was, I think, more than 250 companies had gone for an IPO. And what happens when they go for an IPO? What is the benefit for investment banks? This is the benefit. Investment bankers earned record 2,200 crores in one single year, and that was attributable to public offerings and share sales. Okay, so when a company goes for an IPO, investment banks earn huge amount of money. Okay, so just from the IPOs, the company has maintained, the investment banks have maintained this kind of funds. So, and if you know this, that investment banks, yes, they are very profitable businesses, and then yes, they are also they share a certain portion of that profits, in the form of bonuses with their employees. Okay, so that is what they get. So that is why investment banking is a very buzzing word these days, because they are, I think, one of the only uh, professions, in the field of finance, investment banking and the consulting firms. Okay, all those McKinsey, Bain, BCG kind, they are one of the professions which is comparable to job which is, an IT industry. Let's say someone who is getting placed in Microsoft, Google, getting crores of packages. So if some profession can match that kind of salaries, I think that is